Hey everybody, it is 9 a.m. on a Sunday morning, and there's really not a lot that could get me up for such an early time on my day off. But something that could get me up and gets me excited, in fact, is this match. It is the CALLOUS Invitational 6 Winners Bracket Finals. So, a review as to what that means. It is still best of three. They're both in the winners bracket, so of course, whoever loses here will not be eliminated. However, this is a crucial match because the person who wins this match is going to be in the winner's bracket come grand finals, and they'll have to be beaten twice in order to not win the tournament. It's a massive advantage, and I mean, hey, this tournament has been won from the lower bracket before. I'm not trying to make this into the pseudo championship, but if you win here, it's good. It's a big advantage. So it's Hclat and Umbry. Even though these are not, I mean, I guess maybe Hclat arguably, but when you think of like the top names for ADV, when you think of the ABRs, the Astas, the Starmasters, these guys are not maybe that kind of name, but I am 0% surprised to see either of these players here. These are two rock solid, consistent players who have been doing it for quite a while, and it just felt overdue for both of them. Umbry had that really good 7-win SPL just a couple years ago. Hclat has been in the top 6 of this, top 4 of this, 3 times now, or whatever it is. He seems to be deep every year, and he's one match away from being there every year. This year, he finally broke through. It seems to be, it looks so far like a balanced team for both, but it's so early. For Clat, it could be a TSS, just opting for the Pert Celebi core rather than Scar and Bliss. Umbry, on the other hand, might be a balance or a physical offense. There could be a Magneton on the team for Umbry. Hclat has been changing it up pretty good throughout the tour. Swampert lead is a little bit weird, but nothing outrageous. Kuna's going to come into Ice Beam here, which only matters if it freezes, which it doesn't. And there's no sand either, so very bulky at the moment. And there's the CM, so we'll see who's faster here, first of all. And it ends up being the B, but it is an Ice Beam Kun regardless, so it's not like a super offensive Kun. I guess it could be, but then would Celebi be faster becomes the question. It's really interesting. It's only shown Leech Seed, so we really don't know. And Hclat has the discipline to Leech Seed, again, knowing there will be a switch. And especially with no sand, he's pretty safe in doing that. The B gets healthy, but scratch that. Now there is sand as T-Tar comes in for the first time from Hclat. And I don't know that Umbry's team is actually going to have a T-Tar, but we'll get back to that. Crunch is interesting. I mean, I get why you would do that at Celebi, but wasn't expecting a special tar, but it's hard to know without seeing 3 of the Mons for Hclat's team. CM comes down and Crunch again. There was a Specs drop the first time, which is why it did the same damage that it did before. And now here is Rest. So the Kun is at only +1 special attack. And we know the full set as well. CM, Ice Beam, Rest. We know the last move inevitably has to be either Surf or Hydro Pump, right? Here comes Magneton. Coming in on Fori. If you're making this play, you've got to assume it has HP Fire. And it does, but it doesn't even come close. Fori going to live at 6% and then go for Boom, which doesn't kill the Magneton. But the trade is effectively the same. 1 spike in exchange for the life of the Fori, and of course heavy damage on the Magneton. So we'll see how he wants to proceed from here. He opts for the Celebi. Umbry's team could have a spinner. It could be a balance where there's like a doll or a Starmie or something in the back. Well, I was about to say, but it's not guaranteed. There's the doll, so that's that. We're opting for a Mag doll here, which I think is a fine choice. Hclat has a lot of Scarm in his Scouter. Rapid Spin, however, is blocked by incoming Gengar. And Will-O-Wisp is going to miss. Psychic comes down immediately. 50%, it may or may not have killed on a follow-up, especially if we're considering Giga Drain. But the Specs drop makes it so it'll absolutely kill should Gengar eat another one. D-Bond, and yeah, again, the Specs drop makes it so there's no chance that It comes up short there, and then the sand kills him, or any really bad debonds in that way. It is a straightforward trade after the specs drop, so Dogos and Gargos. However, the spike is going to remain for Hclat throughout the game. There's no way the last poke for Umbry, which I envision to be a Metagross probably, but it could be a Jirachi, it could be a Snorlax, could be a couple things, but there's no way that whatever it is, that it's another Rapid Spinner. So that spike is going to stay. And Hclat hasn't shown his last poke, but given the composition of the team that really needs a special wall, it could be Blissey, which he thinks is the worst poke ever. Could be Jirachi. Feel like it's got to be a special wall, but I guess if he wants to take a more aggressive approach, as Hclat often does, it could also be something like an Aerodactyl, which, oh, there you go, which I think is lovely in this matchup. Umbry does not, on paper, have a fantastic switch. It could be, again, last poke like Meta or something. That would make this interesting, because if you're going to Earthquake the meta, you always risk the Mence, but the Mence itself is a tremendous risk as well, because if Hclat just clicks Rock Slide at any given time, the meta doesn't have lefties, so it makes me think there's Wish support in the back, but no, it is just Metagross. I was thinking for just a moment maybe it could be Jirachi, but now he's running CB Mence without Wish support, which I don't generally love, but he could have Weather Change somewhere. And Umbry's going to land a crit here, which puts the Pert in a bad place, just 10%. And it seems that the meta's faster as well, so Swampert not even going to be able to get a Torrent range Surf or Hydro Pump off here. That crit stinks. Meta's going to be a real issue for Hclat. Neither Aerodactyl nor T-Tower want to take Meteor Mashes. Celebi can kinda, sorta, a little bit fend off Meta, but not really. Meta seems like a real issue. I mean, granted, Meteor Mashers can always just miss, as they do. That's one way for Aerodactyl to beat Metagross. Land an Earthquake, dodge the mash, easy peasy. Anyone can do this. They've been playing pretty quickly here. This is live. You see it at the speed that it's really happening. But Hclat pausing for the first time, probably realizing the trouble that he's in. Very likely, I believe, this game 1 will go to Umbry. And of note, and who knows if he was bluffing or not, but Hclat made a point to say that Umbry is right up there near the top of ADVers, that he has the lowest win rate against, that he really struggles against her and has lost against her a bunch in previous encounters. That doesn't mean that he can't beat her, that he's afraid of her, of course, but I guess historically, this has not been a kind player versus player matchup for Hclat. See if he can break that here. He does get a Leech Seed off. Mash is going to get an attack raise. I mean, to be fair, it did miss on the way in, but now an attack raise upon connecting. That very well may encourage the meta to stay in here. Nothing really wants to eat a +1 mash. Celebi could try to recover, stall it out, and maybe that is the play from Hclat's end. Just click recover and pray that mash misses at some point. That's going to be the plan. And there you go. There's the miss that you're looking for. For Umbry, I would pull it back. I would probably go to my own Celebi. I wouldn't give up Metagross here. You can click Explosion. It's tempting, but Meta seems like such a big threat. Interesting. So Hclat was clearly anticipating Boom there, if that's the play that he's making. Either that or he was thinking the Salamence would come in, rather, and he was trying to trap it with Pursuit Tower, which I think is also very viable. You run the risk here of just getting CB Brick Breaked, though. Back to Purtus fodder. Ooh, that might be a mistake from Umbry. Yeah, I think that's a mistake. She clicks HP Flying, but now she's going to lose her Mence in exchange for the foddered off Swampert. That's absolutely a mistake. Now the T-Tower is just going to click Pursuit twice, and that's going to be that. It's going to survive. Interesting. One of them's got weird EVs for it to do that little bit of a head scratcher there, but the Pert fodder is going to be gone for Hclat. It's going to leave us in a 4-3 situation. There's some damage on a couple of these Mons. Check that in just a moment after we get a brief breather here. We see the Leech Seed not getting his counterpart. Alright, so we have an 18% Mence. Coon is not damaged, but he's asleep, though he is due to wake up. Meta's got Chip on it, but he does have lefties, and he's not super low. Arrow's full, T-Tar's full, and B is full. So the 3 surviving pokes for Hclat, for now, are all healthy. And Umbry dips into her timer for the first time in the entire match. Leech Seed missing there is unlucky for Umbry. She's going to connect with the follow-up, but Crunch and Specs drop, exactly what Hclat's looking for. Kind of a weird spot now for Umbry. BP out is wise, doesn't want to Pursuit out and get nailed. Man, Hclat has trained his T-Tower well. That thing Specs drops like 80% of the time. I swear that's not the percentage of the after effect. Lot of Specs drops this game. He's had him on Coon a couple times. Got it on B there immediately. The Coon is due to wake up. It's going to be wake up CM to be safe. That is going to be the play. Hclat might win this late game. The very, very crucial thing that happened in this game is that he kept the 1 spike down, is that he managed to kill the doll with the Destiny Bond. Had the Clay doll ever gotten a rapid spin off, this is completely different, and I don't like Hclat's chances nearly as much, but I think the way that it's played out, even though I thought Umbry was pretty far ahead and was going to get this, it's now appearing like Hclat is going to win this game, and that spike has just worked overtime, because all these random little chip shots on switches, the Leech Seeds on switches, whatever, it would be so much more underwhelming if not for the spike. And there's a really good prediction for Umbry. Predicts the T-Tar and goes for the Brick Break. That could change things in a big way. Now the Metagross comes online again for Umbry. So it's really back and forth. I thought Umbry was going to win, and then I thought Hclat was going to win. Yeah, it's really back and forth. I'm still not clear, to be honest, even this late in the game. But that was a huge prediction for Umbry. What a read she just made. The Brick Break to snipe out the Tar there. That changes a lot. That was huge. So it's going to be the B and the Aerodactyl now for Hclat. Gonna need to rely on those Mons to get there. And we take a little bit of a pause. Like I said, it's been a pretty fast-paced game 1 so far. Not a ton of timer usage. They're not in full-on blitz clicker mode, but it's been pretty fast-paced for the most part. They both came prepared. They're both confident in their own play. Umbry hasn't dipped below 270 the whole time. She's playing very quickly. Hclat here, usually a pretty damn fast player himself, being a ladder hero. He's going to double back to Aerodactyl here and let that eat the Brick Break. 71% is the damage. That probably doesn't matter. I would think that, certainly mash kills, and maybe or maybe not unboosted surf kills. That could be the only difference if the Aerodactyl would have lived in unboosted surf, which is far from certain. I think in a lot of scenarios that chip damage on Aerodactyl does not matter, because the 2 attacks that it would eat from the things that are alive on the other side, the unboosted surf or the meteor mash, would kill it anyway. So I think it's okay to let the Aerodactyl eat the Brick Break. Now obviously you don't want to get crit there by the Brick Break and just die, but like, you're not really in a position to play around that anymore. So here's Meta. And there's Earthquake. Are we just done? Here's Suicune. Are we banking? Gonna go for Rest. Alright, so last Moncoon for Umbry, but I think Hclat should win this as long as he... Yeah, should just be able to land Leech Seed here. I think Hclat's got it. There is a world, though, because remember, the only grass attacks for Hclat our Giga Drain, which is super limited in terms of PP. So Umbry could theoretically stall Celebi out of grass attacks. GG's being said here. They must be ahead of us in real time. Here's Arrow. There's Rest. I think Hclat managed to pull this off in a very close, very back and forth game one. That's one sleep turn, Leech. Yep, that math works out. Second sleep turn, not going to be enough. Kuhn does not wake up on time. And the Aerodactyl will win the day for Hclat. Game one for Henry Clatterson as he waits for the start of game two. But he's one game away from being in the upper position in the grand finals. He would love to win this tournament, a tournament that he called, and who knows, because no one ever quits, but a tournament that he called the final serious tournament, the final competitive tournament that he's going to play. Whether or not he sticks to that is very hard to say. Like I said, no one ever actually quits. People always stick around and whatever, take a little break, come back, whatever it is. Oh, play SPL, play this team tour. They get dragged back into it by their friends. It happens all the time. But if it really is his last tournament, his last serious tournament anyway, he's putting himself in really, really good position to go out with a bang. And here is game two. As you just saw, Hclat with the lead. We are still in the best of three stages, but that's going to change next round. But for this round, we are still best of three, so Hclat needs to win this game or a hypothetical game three, and he's going to be in the upper bracket for grand finals. This could easily be a finals preview. We'll see if that's how it plays out or not. For now, we have Hclat just focus punching over and over again. Connects with Skarm twice, but it does get a spike down, and it does manage to protect a little bit. But Flygon coming in, good thing that didn't get focus punched. It would not have taken it well, but it was Rock Slide because Hclat wanted to switch it up in case Umbry had stayed in and gone for something like Drill Peck to disrupt focus punch. So they were both playing around something there. So Skarm and Flygon are now in. Flamethrower immediately. That was obviously predicting something like a Flygon to come in from Hclat. And Umbry has opted this game very differently from the previous game. She's opted for what seems to be a Superman team. Unclear for Hclat. Tar Skarm could be quite a lot of things. I'm assuming that, some kind of TSS, right? But are we looking at Skarm Bliss? Are we looking at something a little more aggressive, like a Moltres Gar in the back for Hclat? Does he also have a Superman squad here? What we know right now is that they both have 3 layers down. Umbry has managed to get her Skarm out of the red and into the green at 60%. Jirachi, Common Mon on this archetype, comes in, going to go Fire Punch and get the 20% burn with Serene Grace. So that was a good turn for Umbry. Not that Skarm is particularly exciting in this matchup for Hclat. The spikes are not that great since at least 4 of the Mons. We haven't seen the last one yet, but at least 4 of the Mons for Umbry do not care about spikes. And then Umbry gets another good turn. After getting the Fire Punch burn, she also finds a Rock Slide crit. Now, granted, it's against Pert, so not the most exciting crit in the world, but it all adds up. But that was a good turn for Hclat, poisoning the Zapdos of Umbry, only to get roared out. Aerodactyl shown, and then Gar, which correctly doubles back in against Skarm. We've got ourselves a barn burner here. They both have spikes and seemingly no way to remove it. They are both running a very different variants of. In fact, we have only one Pokemon, the Skarmory, as overlap right now, but so far, in my mind, these both very much fall into the generic archetype category of Superman. 2 very different takes on the archetype, but nevertheless, Superman for both. The T-Tar for Hclat seems like a huge weapon in this matchup. Very difficult to switch into, especially with the spikes. And there is Flygon taking a 49% focus punch. Is only going to be able to do that so many times. Physical Tar seems like a good mon, but Umbry, again, with the spot-on prediction, knows that the Skarm is going to come in and has the courage to go Flamethrower into T-Tar. And it pays off. She's going to snipe out the Skarm. She has herself the first lead of the game at 6-5, but I still actually prefer Hclat's position here, given the strength of the Physical Tar in this matchup. And I also think that the Zapdos is very good in this matchup, especially if it is T-Wave or something that the Jirachi really doesn't want to take. But Toxic will indicate almost certainly that it doesn't have T-Wave, so maybe the Jirachi is okay against it, but it would still have to come in on spikes every single time, which is not ideal. And here comes a T-Bolt against its counterpart. So even though Umbry is winning on paper, I actually think Hclat is ahead right now, and they have both opted for Superman here. Like I said, they only have seemingly 2 pokes in common, but the same archetype as far as I am concerned, even though they have very different takes of that archetype. And that crit is not where he wants to be. The Jirachi could have come in, protected, gone for a wish, protected again, would have been okay, what have you. But that crit is going to completely blow the Jirachi out of the water. No longer a threat, no longer a thing. Rock Slide on Swampert, who's getting low as well at just 22%. That is a Torrent range serve to threaten the Skarm. Protect, of course, to get out of range based on the last damage roll. And Hclat with Protect as well, had Umbry gotten cute and gone for Toxic or something. Hclat now going to coin flip on a second Protect. Calls heads correctly. And now it's Umbry who's protecting, so they are both cool with letting the other one that had previously been low lefties up. But it's going to be Umbry who gets the upper hand, getting Toxic on Swampert here. Immediately refreshed away, though. And Roar is going to drag out Aerodactyl, which Umbry has the option to click Protect and see what Choice Band move it goes for. Hclat knows that's a thing, so instead of doing that, doubles back to Gar. And Gar is generally a really obnoxious mon for Superman teams. The coverage moves, very difficult. Will-O-Wisp, Thunderbolt, and Ice Punch is a really potent combo at the moment. And T-Tar is in the back for Umbry, which is one of the mons that I would have thought that it would be. Giga Drain and Pursuit, very interesting. That changes the dynamic a bit. Pursuit will not kill here, and 2 Giga Drains might, so she'll have to switch it up to Crunch, which she does, and she comes up just shy, but the Sand will finish the job. So no more Gengar, and that is very important for Umbry, but there's no more Tar either, as a Thunderbolt gets the revenge kill. That's going to prompt out Aerodactyl. That's probably obligated to go for Rock Slide here. And that's going to be the second time Rock Slide would have missed, even though Hclat protected, which is real obnoxious. But got to do it again, and does. And there's another KO via crit. It's just been that kind of game, so no more T-Tar now for Hclat in what is a back-and-forth game. And now Zapdos is looking to fodder itself. It comes into a Surf and will not live another. And it is not due to wake up either, so Umbry would have to find immediate Roar in her sleep in order to get out of this. But Hclat is playing it more conservative. He's going to go for Roar. And Umbry doesn't find it. It's a 1 in 3 chance that she finds what she's looking for. If she doesn't, she's going to find T-Bolt. And Zapdos is no more. Very back and forth. Anybody's game. It's been that kind of series. Both games have been tremendously close. So 3-3. Protect. And Roar. Sure. It's going to come down to the wire. It really, you could tell how evenly matched these players are. Very clear that they both belong here with how close this is. Zapdos is probably not what Umbry wanted to roar out, but 50-50 on any given roar at this point, given that they both only have 3 mons left. There's been little, if any, timer usage this game. They're once again playing very quickly. And I would note that PP is actually starting to be a concern here. Umbry has Rock Slid into Zapdos at least 3 times, I believe, and there's only 16 to begin with. Zapdos has pressure. It's going to tell us that there's 10, but I'm all but certain that there's less than that. There's 7 or fewer remaining. I could go back if I really wanted to, and hint, hint, I don't. And I could check if Rock Slide has exactly how many times Rock Slide has been used against Zapdos. I think the answer is 3. I think we're looking at 7 PP here. Could be 6, but I believe the answer is 7. Yeah, 3 protects, 3 Rock Slides. I think we're looking at 7 PP. And I think this is the very first usage of timer in this entire game here. It's been brisk. It's been less than a half hour in real time. Neither one playing slowly or trying to play the mental game with the other. Oh, think. Don't know what to do. Think. Oh, HP grass on your bird. I forgot I had that. Oh, silly me. It's been pretty straightforward for both. Hclat thinking it over. Goes to his own arrow. Oh boy, and gets immediately bailed out. He was willing to fodder his own Aerodactyl, but that's the 3rd Rock Slide that Umbry would have missed this game. Her Aerodactyl is not well trained, needs to spend more time with it, and I think that miss is going to be the game and the match for Hclat. Rock Slide coming down, Toxic. There's actually more than 0 chance here for Umbry, but it's low. Man, I can't help but wonder what could have been if Umbry had landed that Rock Slide. Like I said, she missed 3 of them. I'm seeing GG's, I think. The fact that it's GG's plural instead of GG, I believe means that Hclat wins the set here. They must be ahead of us in real time, but I think this on-screen GG's gives it away. Alright, so Hclat loses arrow, but Zapdos has HP Ice. Simple enough. No way out of that for Umbry. The Flygon is outsped. It's 4x weak. There's just nothing that she could do from that spot. The HP Ice was always going to get there. I could see why she thought it was really important to keep the Zapdos around, and that's why Hclat was willing to give up his own Aerodactyl rather than the Zapdos in the face of the Rock Slides there. It's going to be Hclat with a 2-0 victory over an opponent that he has said very clearly he has a really bad win rate against, and he has historically struggled against, but not this day. It is going to be Hclat with a 2-0 over Umbry. That's going to knock Umbry down to the lower bracket finals, where she will next round face the winner, the yet-to-be-determined winner, of Johnny G2 and Soulwind, which plays later today. That's our 4th place match, Johnny and Soulwind. So one of them is going to be on the bubble, as they say in poker, which is the highest finishing position outside of the money. And the other one is going to go to our 3rd place match, the lower bracket finals, whatever you want to call it, between Umbry and whoever wins. And then the winner waiting in the grand finals in the upper bracket, looking to win this tournament from the upper bracket, which would be an incredible achievement, is Hclat with his 2-0 victory here. I think he's only dropped 1 game all tournament, to give you an idea of what level this guy is playing at and just how dominant he has been in this tournament. And like I said, it's a live narration, so that's all I can tell you at this time. That's how it played out. I don't know how this tournament's going to finish any better than anybody else does, but join me later today for Johnny and Soulwind, which should also be a real good one, and we'll go from there. Hope you guys enjoyed watching it. Congratulations, Hclat. I will see you guys in the next video.